Okay, thank you so much. Maybe we can start by sharing
Yeah.
slides. Okay.
So to brief you all, the agenda for this meeting is to first of all share our findings with you all on how we did the calculation for price negotiation for February now. So I'll share my screen. So we are going to structure this meeting around initial like 40 minutes on walking you through the calculations, and following that we will open the floor for any further questions. We will try to also show you along the way how we have compared to our analysis, what your team did, what were the differences. We will try to show you that as well. So without any further ado, I'll hand over the mic to Henny, who will walk you through the initial introduction part.
Thank you, Rimpo. Please. Okay. So this is just the overview of the steps for borrowing ICER data from other settings. So I know that Kemenkes already did the study to compare the pembrolizumab with other countries, for example, UK, Australia, and Ireland, and some other countries. So this is just how step by step we did it. So the first step is checking the PICO. PICO stands for population, intervention, comparator, and outcome, to make sure that our intervention is comparable apple to apple to other comparators. And then the next step is converting ICER, or incremental cost effectiveness ratio, and product cost to international dollars, using purchasing power parity, or we're gonna shorten it by PPP for the study year. In this case, we did the original study was in 2018, and the PPP, we can access that from the World Bank website, which is available online, and it's updated like annually. And then followed by converting ICER and product cost to local currency, in this case Indonesian rupiah, for the study year. So since the original study was in 2018, so we're gonna convert it into IDR in 2018, and then adjust it with the CPI, or consumer price inflation, to present year, in this case 2022, since the study was conducted in 2022, both the ICER and also product cost in local currency. And the last one is comparing with cost effectiveness threshold, or CET, in local setting or Indonesia, and this is typically calculated 1 to 3 times of the GDP of the country. Next, please. So as we mentioned before, the first step is checking the PICO. So the population for this intervention is patient with untreated PD-L1 positive metastatic non-small lung cancer, or we abbreviated it with NSCLC, in adults with tumors express PD-L1 with at least a 50% tumor proportion score, and also no epidermal growth factor receptor or anaplastic lymphoma kinase positive mutation. And the intervention is pembrolizumab with a dose 200 milligrams every 3 weeks by intravenous infusion. Sorry. And the preparation of pembrolizumab itself is 50 milligrams, so we need 4 vials every administration. And the comparator for this intervention is chemotherapy, and the outcome that we're looking for is quality, total cost, and other things such as overall survival, progression-free survival, and also side effects. And the next step, since it's a little bit more technical, I'm gonna refer back to Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Henny. So as Henny mentioned, the first step that we usually do is to compare PICO and actually see whether the studies that we are going to look their HTA data from exactly match our objectives or not. Once we have determined that yes, PICO is comparable. The next step of this process would be to convert original study ICER. So here, in case we are going to use the ICER from just England, and then we will take that ICER from that study year and convert that into international dollar for comparability. So as you can see in the table, what we did was we not only took the data of ICER, but also we have taken the treatment cost as well as the comparator cost. Ideally, in this scenario, it would be good to have like a detailed breakdown of all the costs that are there, including direct med cost and indirect med cost, just so it would help us in the later stages, which I'll talk about briefly. But yeah, so what we want to mainly look at is ICER, then the treatment cost and comparator cost. Then we will convert it into international dollar. So this conversion rate, again, we got it from the World Bank. So the conversion rate was 0.69. So what we did was, so what we did was simply multiply the ICER with 1.44 to convert it into international dollar. So we have also shared with you an Excel file with the detailed formula, but this first step is simply to convert ICER from euros to international dollar for the current study year, which is 2018. The next step when we move forward, what we would like to do is to convert that international dollar to a local currency. So here in case Indonesia. So first we convert it for the study year, which is 2018. So we converted using the conversion rate to IDR, which is 3,512 IDR of international dollar to IDR. And this was again used using the PPP and World Bank data. And then we got the data for the year 2018. Then what we have to do is simply to adjust it for inflation. So for adjusting it for the inflation, we multiplied it with the CPI ratio. Now, what do we mean by CPI ratio? Here we have taken CPI of the year 2022 and divided it by the study year, which is 2018, and we got a ratio 1.316. Then we use this ratio to multiply it with the study year finding, which is 2018. So I'll maybe pause here if anyone has any burning question at this point, the calculations. So the first step was to check for PICO. The second step is to adjust the original study into international dollar for comparability. The third step is we will convert the international dollar value to the current to the local currency, which is Indonesia, for the study year, and then we will just adjust it for the inflation to the whichever year we are looking at. So in this case, since the study that Indonesian team performed was in the year 2022, we have used that value. We could easily use 2024 value as well if we have to show the finding for today. Now, the step 5 is we will compare the ICER values with the cost effectiveness threshold. Now, in Indonesia, we have cost effectiveness threshold is 1 to 3 times GDP. So we used the GDP value for 1 time GDP and 3 times GDP and averaged it out to determine a base CET level, which came out to be around 47 million Indonesia rupiah. And this was our base as a comparison. Now, as you can see that ICER for the base case scenario is 200 million Indonesia rupiah, whereas our cost effectiveness threshold is just 47 million. So we calculated how much percentage reduction would it require for pembrolizumab to be cost effective at Indonesia's willingness to pay threshold of 47 million. And it was a simple percentage reduction calculation. And we found that around 76.5% percentage reduction at the base case would be needed for Pembro to be cost effective at Indonesia's base CET. The range that we have also written was determined based on the two scenarios that were provided in the original study. The first scenario was 3 years time horizon, and the second scenario was 5 years. Although in the study they have from the UK, they have mentioned that the time horizon of 3 years and 5 years lack sufficient amount of effectiveness data. So we are keeping, we would be moving forward. We would be just using the base case for our price negotiation comparison. So now what we are going to see is we found about the ICER value, and okay, ICER for it to be cost effective, it needs to be reduced by 76.5% as per Indonesia's GDP. Now, when we look at just the price of pembrolizumab, 200 milligram vial, we want to we wanted to check first of all how does it compare with the offered Indonesian price, and how does it compare when we used our calculations for determining the price of pembrolizumab. So first step was we just simply converted it using the Bank of Indonesia value. So that means we didn't adjust it for any purchasing power parity or even for the CPI or inflation. We just took 2018 value and converted it to 2022 value. And we got the exchange price at 2022 using Bank of Indonesia at 271 million Indonesia rupiah. The next step, we looked at what was based on our calculation. We adjusted for purchasing power parity from 2018 UK to 2018 Indonesia, and adjusted it to inflation in 2022 Indonesia, and found that the adjusted UK price for pembrolizumab was Indonesia IDR 70.48 million. However, the offered price that was listed in your report was 54 million. So just simply at this glance, one would think that the offered price from the manufacturer is still lower as compared to what we are getting if we directly convert the price from UK, either using PPP adjustment or using the Bank of Indonesia exchange value. But when we go back to our cost effectiveness threshold value, when we checked that, okay, no, the ICER was not cost effective, so the offered price is still not cost effective. So just to refresh your memory on the calculation for ICER. Yeah, so we found that the ICER is not cost effective. That means that this value of 70.48 million is still not cost effective. So what we did was we applied the reduction to our calculated adjusted price. So here we had our adjusted UK price. Sorry, I'm just pausing. There are a few people in the waiting room. Yeah. Just. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So we found, based on our analysis, we found that the ICER that was we were getting from the original UK study adjusted to inflation and adjusted to PPP in Indonesia, and Indonesia's willingness to pay threshold is not cost effective. And hence, the adjusted price that we got for pembrolizumab through our calculations, we further reduced it by 76%. And we got a price that we think that should be the negotiated price, which is 16.5 million. So reducing the price by 76.5%, it will be cost effective at Indonesian cost effectiveness threshold. So here in this graph, you can see that the UK adjusted price as per our analysis was close to 76 point something million. And the offered price was 54 million, but still it's way above the cost effectiveness threshold based on our ICER calculation. And then when we reduce it to meet the cost effectiveness threshold by 76%, we get a new negotiated price. So when we are like this calculation you can show when you're dealing with the manufacturers. And this is here, since we have used ICER as well as willingness to pay threshold, there can be a more bargain that you can offer to the manufacturers in terms of the data validity as well as the transferability of the results. However, we do want to highlight that the results of this should be used with cautious because there are the health economic evaluation data is not completely transferable. It depends on several other local factors such as effectiveness data as well as the population. So obviously a full-fledged economic evaluation is advisable, but this can still be used as an evidence to take forward for negotiation. I'll pause here if anyone has any question on any calculation or want me to walk through the calculation.
Thank you, HITAP, for the presentation. Maybe I'll ask the team whether they have questions regarding this. But from my side, I believe what you offer here today, what you present here today is can be one of the option for. I know the result is not cost effective, and the recommendation suggests to have a price negotiation if Indonesia still want to have pembrolizumab in the benefit package. I think in the negotiation process, I think some scenarios should be created to see uh, what at what price. And I believe that not only like a single price, not only having one scenario, but maybe in the future we can have like 2 to 3 scenario to adjust with what the industry willing to the price. Maybe the team want to.
Actually, we have a comment from Ari in the chat box. So he said that might be interesting to see comparison with an actual CEA and see how much the two methods agree in conclusion. Only that once decided it goes to rapid review, then there is a little need to do a CE. Is it because rapid review only works well for those technologies at the market? For example, high likelihood of being cost ineffective.
Sorry, would you like to unmute and ask the question? So you are asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I tend to see over the past couple of years, rapid reviews only focus on those technologies that have extremely high costs, or maybe bordering around the cost of being cost effective. Is it? My question is whether rapid review only works in that kind of situations. Let's say if we can apply it into the sort of like typical technologies where it adds costs and also adds a little bit of health outcomes, would that work as well? Would that sort of something that you recommend?
I couldn't catch your last part. Applying the cost and outcome. Sorry.
Yes, I mean, like we have pembrolizumab, right, which is
Yeah.
extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Well, other situations that I think are applicable to this rapid review methodology is when you do sort of cheap or not so costly interventions. Okay, so that sort of like works in extremes. Either the technologies are too expensive or not expensive but highly effective. So you can easily conclude with rapid review methodology. So my question is, along those two extremes, okay, between those two extremes, would a rapid review actually work with, say, for example, I don't know, for instance, highly active antiretroviral, new antiretroviral agents, for example, for HIV people? I mean, would that work? Sort of like the usual technology, that is not so expensive, but can also have some increased effectiveness in a way compared to the standard of care. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I understand. You're trying to say that for technology that is not like high cost and it doesn't fall under the extreme of being highly costly. But in terms of
Yes.
like effectiveness, it has more benefits. So just can we use rapid review evidence instead of doing a CAA? That's your question, right?
Yes.
I think like I am in no position to answer whether you can use that or not. I think it depends on the stakeholders that you want to consult. But like if you usually like when in the cases when you have limited capacity to conduct the full economic evaluation, other criteria such as other than the effectiveness and safety profile, obviously other criteria like budget impact and a quick cost effectiveness analysis does help to inform for priority setting. And that has been used by several other countries as well. But again, that is something that usually in such cases, it is also beneficial to have other stakeholders involved also, which includes not just clinician, but the policymakers, and sometimes even the patient group, so that you have like a broader, more perspective to hear from. I hope that helps. Ari.
Does that answer your question, Pa Ari? Okay, thank you.
But definitely, I think also would like to emphasize that this is just like one way that you can use for negotiating the price. And in Thailand also, the cost effectiveness evidence alone is not the tool that is being used for price negotiation. Other tools have been used. For example, sometimes there have been cases for in race, for example, where we did managed entry agreement to lower the price and share the prices. So there have been like multiple tools that are used simultaneously, but this is a more, this can be a way forward whenever high cost technologies are used. You can like at least have a calculative method to show to your stakeholders that, okay, this is the range that you're working, as Luciana said, that we can have multiple scenarios to provide a range of cost that we want to work with. Yeah, we a framework to include the affordability. Yeah, we do that to like we do like feasibility analysis also, as well as budget impact analysis for determining the affordability. Yeah, thanks, Kansa. Yeah, so Sada has asked in the chat that in Indonesia, is there a necessary requirement of conducting a budget impact analysis?
Yes, we need to combine the cost effectiveness result with the budget impact analysis. Maybe Pak Panji or Mbak Putri want to unmute and
So we are using to answer Putri Lestina question. So we have actually used the average of 1-time GDP and 3-time GDP just to set it as a base CET value. That was just like our rough assumption on we want to go with the base case value.
Yeah, thank you, Dimple. So you are so calculating for the 3 GDP, something like that, or you only calculating 1-time GDP? But basically, Indonesia still using 3 GDP as threshold, cost effectiveness threshold. I'm curious. So the value of the the value of the drugs in the final is really low, yeah, around 16 million rupiah. So can you address how we do analysis, sensitivity analysis for the price using 1 GDP or 3 times GDP? Maybe you can elaborate more. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and that's a very good point that you have raised. I think we can definitely have different scenarios with comparing with just 1 time GDP and with 3 time GDP. Since this was like a very quick review, we went ahead with just like using base values. Another thing which reminds me is also since we didn't had a complete picture of the cost table that was used in the original study, we made an assumption that the cost of pembrolizumab has a direct impact on the total cost. So that was also a big assumption that we have made. That means like any changes that would be made to the price of pembro would affect the ICER. That's an assumption that we are going with. However, if we had the detailed breakdown, the step that we would have taken in that case would we have determined how much is the percentage that pembrolizumab is in comparison to the total cost. And then we would have further adjusted this negotiated price on basis of that. So that's also like assumption that we have made in this analysis. To answer on your question on doing different scenarios, I think that still can be done. However, for the comparison study, we don't have like complete data points to work with. But like if we get more details from UK's report, I think we can still have a more detailed analysis.
But yeah. So would we still use the 3 times of GDP for the threshold, or we will still use the average of the threshold?
So right now, Putri, if you said that you are at practice using 3 time GDP, so I think it should be three. We can show both with 1 time GDP and 3 time GDP and have a range that can be definitely done easily and quickly just using these calculations.
Does that answer your question, Putri?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
And the budget impact will vary as well.
Yeah.
Follow the price. So should be one of the consideration when thinking which scenario is the best for maybe the price negotiation, because we are considering also with the um, affordability and sustainability of the program. So yeah, it is interesting to uh what how many GDP we will use for this, especially for these very expensive drugs, whether we will use the maximum willingness to pay or maybe we will use the minimum willingness to pay. Yeah, I think this is further discussions with the expert in Indonesia, because I believe this is a local settings. This will be based on our like judgment, and the budget impact will determine uh, like 1, 2, or 3 GDP. That's from my side.
Thank you, Lucy, for adding it.
Any other question or anything that you want to discuss related to this? Yeah, I think Kansa has shared an interesting paper. That paper is usually like it highlights that there are like several MCDA multi-criteria decision that are used and several other tools when you have to transfer the data. And it's an interesting read. Okay.
I think what Kansa share might relevant to Papanji. Maybe Papanji, would you like to say something, because we ask Papanji to see how the transferability might work?
Thank you, Bulusi. Well, I think that's a good point that we. So thank you first of all for this case study and presentation, everyone. I think I don't really know if I can do this, but it looks simple enough to be done by ourselves, ya, Bulusi. Yeah. But I think this is just one aspect of in the price negotiation, a very technical and probably very basic technical aspect. And we need to consider many other things, Bulusi, among other things, the transferability of the data that we use in coming up with these estimates. And then also, of course, other things, because I'm sure there will be other consideration about setting the price at which we are willing to purchase the drugs. And again, if we consider about for example, if we consider about the threshold, the use of 1 times GDP or 3 times GDP is also sort of an arbitrary. Like, we don't know why that happened, why we decided to do that. Ideally, we would have a specific willingness to pay for this drug and use that as a threshold. Probably we are not willing to pay more than 10 million, for example, right? So I think this is a very useful exercise and we can use the information as one of the supporting information in the price negotiation. But I think most importantly, we need to have an idea about how we are going to decide to bring the price to the negotiation table, in addition to having this estimate. I think that's from myself, Bulusi. Thank you.
Thank you, Papanji.
Thank you.
I want to check whether other team would like to say something. We have Prof. Aulia here. You'd like to say something, Prof. Aulia?
Thank you, Bu Lucy. Thank you, Dimple, Hani, and other HITAP team. Yeah. Maybe I want to highlight or emphasize the point that Pak Panji mentioned before. For some reasons, it will be very useful for us to be used as one of references in price negotiations. But yeah, it is true that we need also to consider other factors as well. But the point that we can use it as one of reference, it is very useful for us. And then another issue is that it is true that the country has applied the budget impact analysis as well as one of key criteria. So I think talking about budget impact analysis, it will be very relevant in this case, not only about price negotiation. But in general, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the effort from HITAP team to mention one of alternative approach when we negotiate with the manufacturer. I think that's all from my side. Thank you, Bu Lucy and other members.
Prof. Aulia. Rian? Rian, or maybe from pembrolizumab team, the team who conduct the study. Putri already share her thought. Maybe I see here Bu Poppy. If nothing else, want to ask, maybe Baheni?
Okay, you're gonna ask something, Lucy, or?
No, I'm checking for the pembrolizumab team
Oh,
conduct study, or whether they want to say something. Atika? Or
Yeah.
if not,
Hi, Bu Lucy. Hello, everyone.
yeah, hello.
Yes, I'm sorry I'm joining late. I'm not sure whether you already mentioned it or explained it in the first step, but I'm just wondering because what I remember from our exercise for AHTA pembrolizumab, we actually have some evidence not only from UK but also from Canada and Ireland, if I'm not mistaken, and also some peer-reviewed journal from China and Singapore. So how did you decide which countries that we benchmark? Why it is suddenly from UK setting? Is it like is there any like process that we should follow in decision which country that we should benchmark for the price negotiation decision?
Thank you, Noor. Excellent question. So to give you answer to your question, how did we decide? I think we just decide to whatever was the evidence that was available at hand. So for the UK study, we just went and because like it was a very quick rapid review, so we just used the UK study as an evidence. But to your next question, like if you have you had multiple countries and if you have to choose. So going to our first slide, which was determining the PICO, at that time, maybe you can also check for which study matches the close with Indonesia's guidelines in terms of like the perspectives to use or in terms of even like in the PICO, whether it's like completely matched or not, as well as in terms of like a country's setting, which resemble the closest to Indonesia in terms of the healthcare system setting. And I think definitely you can have like multiple scenarios when you have the final price to show to your stakeholders for comparison. But I think definitely those are the few of the points that you can assess. One would be the perspective and which country is closest to your healthcare context system. Yeah. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. Thanks, Kansa.
Okay, so
More
so this
detailed.
exercise is just for only example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But in the real practice, we should really choose very wisely which contexts are closer to Indonesian context and also some limitation of study, etc., etc. All right. Thank you so much.
Any other questions from other team?
Oh, hi. May I ask a question? It's a very quick one.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm just to clarify because I didn't heard that you mentioned about what kind of inflation rate that you use. Do you just use the regular CPI or specific for health only?
We did use the regular one.
Oh, okay. Just that. Thank you.
There's a good paper that we can share with you on the CPI calculation, and yeah, we will share that with you.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Any other questions or any other suggestions for us?
I think there's no other questions from the team. Maheni?
So in terms of the next steps, Lucy, we would like to ask you, how do you think this analysis can be taken forward? And as discussed today, there are several assumptions that we have made, as well as there are several other parameters and uncertainties that needs to be taken into account. Or at least like mentioned when you're taking these results back to your stakeholders. Anything that we can support with.
Yeah, sure. I need to report this first to, yeah, to the director first, then discuss with the team what else we need, what other thing we need to support from you. But I think this opportunity is a very good opportunity for us for sharing. Papanji, please.
Panji.
Yeah, Bu Lucy, thank you. Maybe I want to take this opportunity to ask the audience about their confidence about the price. So we came up with 16 million for pembrolizumab. So does anybody has any comment about that price? Well, maybe let me be specific. Like, should we bring this price to the negotiation table? If not, then what would you recommend us to consider in addition to this estimate? Maybe this will help us a little bit about answering your question. But what's next? Anyone? Maybe I don't know. Maybe we wait for 15 seconds. If anyone has any comment. No comment, it seems. Good,
Yeah,
Bulusi, you can bring this
but
to the negotiation
but
table.
yes, the reduction is wow. I mean 76%, and it 16.5 million is for files, right? Um, I don't know. We need to give it a try. Maybe we need to. I just have a session with the industry. This uh, uh today. So they actually asked about the previous study, which is not go through the value-based pricing, the price negotiation. Can we negotiate it? I think maybe they refer to this study. Maybe they want to have pembrolizumab to be negotiated. Maybe, but yes, we should give it a try. But maybe with scenario and the what will be the price negotiation strategy? What is the strategy? We just have a study visit to Ace, and Fong say that he play like a good cop and a bad cop, something like that in the negotiation process. I think it's one of the arts. Indonesia need to learn a lot from other country who already conduct this process. But yeah, Papanji, maybe we need to create few scenarios to make this happen.
Yeah, and also we need to consider the end result of the negotiation and what it means to have cost effectiveness analysis. So for example, we did this exercise and we say that so the price at which the treatment would be cost effective is 16 millions. And then we ended up with 25 million for the price. So what's the point of having cost effectiveness analysis? So I think we need to consider that and maybe think about this as a long-term strategy. Maybe we want to end up with that price point, but maybe we cannot go there directly, and we need to think of some ways to reduce the price such that our cost effectiveness analysis exercise will be meaningful. I think that's my opinion, just my opinion. So I may be wrong.
Yes, you might be wrong, but let's ask Prof. Aulia. Maybe he have another opinion. Prof. Aulia. Maybe he is busy. Yeah, I think that's all, Papanji. If you don't have anything else to ask from my side, I'm very satisfied with this meeting, and maybe we need to discuss what is the next if the HITAP is willing to have this discussion, this small exercise with us. I think this is a good practice. Bye-bye.
Sorry, we didn't catch that, Malusi. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, I just mentioned that this is a good discussion. We are happy to sharing thoughts with you, and maybe we can have another discussion with different uh point of view, maybe like sharing best practice among us, because HCA is not about theory, but yeah, we need to learn from you who already conduct this process so long. Thank you, Mbak.
Soda also has suggested that it might be a good exercise if to Putri's point as well, that if from the country that you had already found, we can do like you can do the similar exercise using the similar calculations and see different scenarios that would be coming out. Any immediate action points? I think from our side, I would just like to say that definitely we will share the last added slide with you, which is on the limitations of the analysis, so that when you're taking that forward to your stakeholders, you mentioned that. Another thing, depending upon again, if you want to show 3x GDP value, we can change that, or you can change it on your end. We have shared the Excel file with you. Another thing I think that can, once you have had discussions internally as well as with the stakeholders, if you like, we can publish, write a policy brief or some similar sort of brief communication that can again be not only used as a record keeping purpose, but also a dissemination for both Indonesia team as well as for HITAP team.
Yeah, sure. We can discuss this further.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. So our team will send across updated materials as well as the added slide and share it.
Thank you so much for the fruitful discussion.
Thank you. Actually, Lucy, before we end things, we just want to know about the updates of the insulin price and the IQVIA discussion. How is it going at the moment?
I'm not following the reporting progress, but I think the analysis is supported by the IQVIA as well. So I'm not updated as well, but maybe after they have reported to the minister, then Bu Lisa mentioned if she needs to confirm further issue, and we will contact you. Yeah, the analysis process is still ongoing. They still have like regular meetings, something like that.
So
Yes.
please keep us updated regarding
Yeah,
that.
sure.
If we do have
Yes.
anything to contribute, we'll be happy to help on that too.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We can close 5 minutes early.
Yes.
Okay, I will share the recordings and also the updated slides to you, Malusi, and feel free to share it to your network.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. See ya.
See you. Bye.
Bye.